Well, welcome. This is my Traxxas E-Revo review. This is the brushed version as opposed to the brushless version. This is very much a real-life car review. I've borrowed this one to show you people out there exactly what you get for your money and talk about the spec of not just this car but the very latest version out there from Traxxas. So, let's get the cover off, see what's under the skin. Well, before I get going on my review of the Traxxas E-Revo, any comments, any questions, please ask away in the comment section below the video and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you do like this video, you want to see more of the car, then please do subscribe. The body on the car, simple as can be to remove, 4 clips, 2 at the back, 2 at the front. Well, as I say, this is the brushed version of the E-Revo. It can take a maximum of 2 2S battery packs. Doesn't take 2 3S packs on here. 4-wheel drive, independent suspension all round. Just going to take the camera off the tripod in a short minute and zoom in on that. So, first of all, let's have a look under the skin and see what you get for your money. Now this surprised me the first time I took the body off. 2 motors, not 1, 2 Titan 550 motors on it. Provides a huge amount of torque. If you've seen some of the videos I've already shot with this car, the one thing that stands out, this car, while not an absolute speed machine in its current form, the huge amount of torque means this thing just plows over anything, just keeps going on steep banks, deep snow. This thing just goes through it, just keeps on cruising. So, I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and look in a little more detail at what we're in the car. Well, let's start off with a look at the electrics. So what do we get for our money? Well, we get a fully waterproof ESC. We get waterproof steering servos. There are 2 of them on here, both waterproof. Well, moving across to the receiver box here. It is a watertight receiver box. Now be aware, like a lot of manufacturers, they quote watertight receiver box, not a waterproof receiver. Big difference on there. Whilst this car will probably remain perfectly watertight under most conditions, if you dunk this thing underwater and leave it fully submerged for any length of time, you are likely to get water ingress into the receiver. Just so you're aware of the difference on that. We've got our twin Titan 550 motors. You could replace these with something else, maybe a little more power, maybe go a brushless option, but if you're going to go down that brushless route, then you might as well buy its bigger brother, the VXL powered monster in the first place. Batteries, 2 of them, 2 compartments, 1 on either side of the car. Simply pop down these catches open and you've got your battery compartment in there. The wires come out through to the end and battery plugs. So you've got 2 battery connections on either side of the car. Well, now it's worth pointing out what this car does and doesn't come with. Well, now the majority of Traxxas cars come ready to run including the batteries and charger. Not the case with the Traxxas E-Revo brush version. You're going to need to purchase 2 batteries and a charger to go with this car. So I would suggest investing in 2 very good quality 2S LiPos, 25C rating and above on there. Depending on your battery charger, you can maybe charge the batteries in situ on this car without ever needing to undo this very easy to use clamping system. It also proves it locks in place very, very firmly with a hard press on there. Nothing is going to move that battery compartment, no banging around on the car, etc. So very good, and the batteries fit fairly well, fairly tightly in there. It's not going to get any movement bashing up and down. All versions of this car come with a 2.4 GHz radio system, which means nothing like a CB radio, etc. Is going to interfere with it, which is always good. The very latest version of this car also comes with TSM, which stands for Traxxas Stability Management System. In order to provide kind of counteract steering on the drift, you can set the level of automated steering that you want on there, so you can drift the thing if you want, or you can get it so it doesn't drift at all. Also has a slight impact on the power delivery on there. As standard, however, having driven this car quite a bit, I wouldn't necessarily say it's essential that the TSM system is fitted onto this car. It may be an option if you want to upgrade it and make it much faster, etc. Then the stability management system may be a benefit. I would say if you're buying a used model of this, it wouldn't worry me with the brush version to buy one without the TSM fitted. Just my opinion though. Okay, just doing a quick scan down of the car so you can see the level of detail on that. Nice beefy rear wing mounts on there. That thing will take an upside down landing, I should imagine, without damage in there. Fully inboard suspension, front and rear. We'll come on to that in just 1 second. Just giving you a good view down the length of the car there. Front inboard suspension on there. Well, taking a look at that front suspension in more detail there, you'll see plastic drive shafts. It has plastic drive shafts front and rear. They're nice beefy ones. That might be something you want to consider upgrading if you're really going to do some seriously hard bashing with this. Overall though, I would suggest the plastic ones are quite cost efficient versus their strength. Okay, well, let's look at that front suspension in a little more detail. You've got plenty of travel, a little bit of droop on there, plenty of movement on here. Fairly considerable, what, 3 maybe nearly 4 inches of clearance on the wheels on there. Okay, the same on the back here. Pretty damn good suspension clearance on there. There is very little that troubles this thing, and I would say with that huge torque on there, this generally plows through most things. Well, here is the one-time unique inboard suspension. I say unique, as you can see it working away there with the cams. This suspension has now been copied by Armour on both the Nero and the Nero Big Rock. But this was the E-Revo, to my mind, was the first car to feature fully inboard suspension on a model car, not unlike Formula 1 racing cars were. It has the same inboard suspension set up at the front there. You can see it working maybe a little more clearly than at the rear. Steering duties done by the twin servo, so I'll flip the car underneath and let's have a look at that. Well, whilst I've got the car turned over to look at the steering, just quick rundown of the underside of the chassis here. Slightly unique these days in not having just one smooth plate on the bottom of the car. Here are the steering servos either side on there. As I say, both of these are fully waterproof. Well, whilst the bulk of the suspension components front and rear are plastic, they may look slightly spindly and maybe slightly weak, but they're not. They seem pretty damn tough. I was able to do some fairly serious jumping work with this in the skate park the other day without any worries whatsoever. Okay, well, having looked at the electrics, the chassis and the drivetrain in a little more detail, let's have a look at those wheels and tyres. Quite nice looking chrome wheels on here, look fairly sophisticated. These tyres, love them, hate them, they actually seem to do pretty good on most surfaces. I've done a full multi-surface test of this car, which I've just put up on YouTube, so please do check that video out. These tyres, the whole thing doesn't lock all 4 diffs, it is 4-wheel drive, and these tyres seem to give a lot of grip on loose surfaces. Quite surprising, given this very low profile on here. They absolutely love blacktop, and they're pretty good on grass as well. Even damp grass, wet grass, seems to go over there with no problem at all. The ability to go over most anything is probably helped by the twin motors here, giving a huge amount of torque. So even low speed sort of set-offs on there gets a lot of grip delivered from these tyres. Well, I've put the body up in the air here so we can have a quick scan down the side. This profile may be very familiar to you if you are familiar with the E-Revo. Just moving on down the back there. So this is very much a real life car review. In general, not too much scratching on the tops of this car. Very clearly doesn't spend a lot of its time upside down. So in conclusion, what do I like about the Traxxas E-Revo? Well, it is a very good all-round package on here. It's fast, but not too fast that it's going to scare the pants off of you if it's your first car. If it's your first car, for goodness sake, I would say don't buy the VXL version. It simply would be too fast at sort of 65 miles an hour. 30 miles an hour, plenty fast enough for a first car. 60 miles an hour, I've noticed, 88 feet per second. So that large parking lot rather, becomes very small, very fast. You hit something doing 65 miles an hour, you're going to know about it. This car, very easy to work on. I would say that is one of the things that I forgot to touch upon when I was looking about it. I would say if you damage anything on there, you're going to be able to replace it fairly easily. Overall, yeah, pretty good car. Good first monster truck. As I said, fast but not too fast. You can learn a lot from this car. It goes over pretty much anything with the torque of those twin Titan motors in there. The only downside maybe is the batteries, but even with twin 2S batteries on there, the battery life is not huge as you would maybe expect versus a brushless car, which may get a little bit more speed and a little bit more battery time a little bit more speed and a little bit more runtime out of the batteries. But that would be my only slight downside on it, but you can always buy extra batteries to fit to take out with you. So I hope you like that review of the Traxxas E-Revo. As I said, this is the brushed edition. If you did like this video and you want to see more of this car, please do check out my existing videos, and by all means subscribe.
Well, if you like our Drifter Maniacs videos, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook and on YouTube. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching.